This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball. I'm your host, Coach James Lewis, back again for some of this mock draft action. We're starting it early, day after the draft. We want to know who's next in this 2023 class. It's very heralded. Starting at number 1, Victor Wembanyama, someone that maybe more as much talked about as LeBron James as far as number 1. That's as far back as I'm going as far as people talking about him before he gets there. He is my current number 1 overall pick. He's number 1 on all the mocks you'll see at this point. Number 1 player in the world that is not in the NBA. 7'2". He can really stretch it. He's got very good fluidity. He can handle the ball. His defense is outstanding. He draws some comparisons to Chet Holmgren. We've seen them go head to head. He's not a punk. I think that he is hungry to get into the NBA. I think the team that wins the lottery next year will be chomping at the bit to draft him. You just don't see a 7'2" player with the skill set, the fluidity, the lateral movement that you see in Victor Wembanyama, and his better days are going forward. We've seen him go one-on-one with fellow Frenchman Rudy Gobert, and him hold his own and give him some buckets. At number 2, somebody that I think that is threatening the throne for number 1 is Scoot Henderson. Starling Scooter Henderson just has everybody wowing every time he touches the ball. He was the most impressive player in the G League Ignite last year. He'll represent this year. He's just getting better each and every day. He has moves in his arsenal at 17 that professionals don't have. Every time he touches the ball, it's a wow. He didn't shoot it great from 3, but he's got great mechanics to see all of those shooting numbers improving this year. He gets after it defensively. He's tough. He's athletic. He gets to the rim. He has some mid-range game. He can drop some dimes. He rebounds well. Scoot Henderson is your modern-day point guard, and I love everything about him. I can't wait to see him continue to get better this season. At number 3, I love Nick Smith Jr. 6'4", 185, but I think he's still growing. I like how he can play on the ball, off the ball. He's more of a 2 guard. He can score at will. He can step back, hit floaters. McDonald's All-American game. He plays Team USA. He's ready for the bump, and he's ready for the competition. This Arkansas team is very, very thrilling, and he leads the charge. And we'll see the college competition compared to the G League Ignite, and whether he can surpass a Scoot Henderson, because he is a little bit bigger. And like I said, I believe he's still growing, but he's got so much in his bag, and I can't wait to see him play out this year. At 4, Dariq Whitehead. He looks like a pro. He plays like a pro. He steps up anytime in the competition. He's going to be the man at Duke this year. They have a star-studded team coming in again. He won McDonald's All-American MVP. He led Mount Vert to the Geico National Championship. He comes from good blood. His brother's been in the NFL for 10 years. Florida Player of the Year. They have how they develop players at Mount Vernon. He's been there for some time, not just that senior year, but he's played with the likes of Cade Cunningham. He's built well. He's got a nice, good release. He can shoot it when he's open, but he can get to the rim at will. It's great feel for the game. I love Dariq Whitehead. I think he's going to be a star in the NBA. At 5, Charm City's own Cam Whitmore, stamped by Carmelo Anthony. This 6'7", 220-pound Villanova freshman. Jay Wright will not be there, but he's going to be just the biggest part of that team. And sure enough, he should be one and done. He bullies you in the post, but if you double, he knows how to drop the dime. He's very, very explosive around the rim. He's good on the offensive boards. He shoots well, and he was the best player on Team USA this summer. In 17 minutes a game, he gave you 18.7 points. He had 30 in the championship blowout against Brazil. The Maryland Gatorade Player of the Year. Dolls All-American. He looked good there. Cam Whitmore has been rising and rising and rising, and I think he just gets better each and every day. At 6, Dillon Mitchell, part of that Mount Vert team that won Geico's, has an NBA body that's growing. He's very athletic, 6'7", 200, 6'8", actually. Season high of 29 this year. He was a McDonald's All-American game. In the Jordan Classic, he was the MVP at 18 points in 17 minutes, which shows that he just plays well against good competition. He's no stranger to that, and I think he's just keep getting better each and every day. At 7, Derek Lively of Duke, one of the best interior defenders / lob catching threats that I've seen in some time. He's got good shooting mechanics. We'll see how he pairs well with Derek Whitehead and the rest of that gang of blue coming in. But in high school, in PA, not against the greatest competition, averaged 14 points, 14 boards, 4.5 blocks. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years ago. McDonald's All-American game. But what really stands out is his defensive ability. He's going to shut down the interior next year at Duke and fill in on that Mark Williams footsteps. I go back and forth with him and the next prospect that I have at 8. Ware is going to Oregon. He looked great this summer in the Americans games. Lob catching threat. He really has better offensive potential, in my opinion, than Derek Lively. I think Lively just has a better, motor or just want to be great. But I think he's the more talented player, and I think he's just tapping in to what he can be. He's going to be very intriguing watching him and Keontae George over there for Oregon that just revamps their lineup, and they're going to be a threat. At 9 and 10, who doesn't love brothers, twin brothers at that are just awesome at hoop? And who knows, they might go down as the best all-time twins. Asir Thompson is the leader of that charge. 6'7", 200, the wing, the prototypical wing that you look for. Overtime elite. You're not playing against the greatest of competition, but they're going to be in the TBT. Both of them do it all. And Asir particularly is really good at getting his shots off, create separation, being explosive, and playing really damn good defense. So with one comes the other. Amen, Thompson. Church, he can really dime. So you got a little bit of playmaking, you got a little bit of finishing, but yeah, he's 6'7", 200 himself. The two of them are a dynamic duo. It's cool to watch them kind of play together. Makes me think about Markeith and Marcus Morris over there in Kansas, but they're doing it the new school way, and they're better prospects as far as the NBA is concerned. He needs to work on his shooting. At 11, I went back and forth with this because I really, really like Anthony Black. He's going to pair so well with Nick Smith. He'll kind of play the 1. Smith will play the 2, but they're interchangeable. He's got winning feel, great feel for the game. I feel like he'll be a walking triple-double once he gets to the league. Defensively, he's strong, he's smart, he anticipates steals well. McDonald's All-American game, USA team, like he's played against really good competition. He's stepped up, and every time he gets better and better. Anthony Black, I feel like he'll move up in the draft. At 12, Jarris Walker, one of the most explosive athletic talents that we have here in the 2023 draft. He'll go to Houston as a freshman. He'll play with Marcus Sasser. They'll be a damn good team, good coach team. He's going to get better. He catches Loswell, but when he faces up and goes downhill, he's tough. And at IMG Academy, he was their number one guy, and teams knew what they were going to do, and he still imposed his will. So just a great physical specimen, but a damn good ball player as well. Kind of a throwback power forward with athleticism, i.e. like Deshaun Kemp, but I think he'll find a spot in the league. Oh, and he can pass very well. Side note, at 13, Keontae George, someone else for IMG. So I'm going teammates back to back. He was part of a FIBA 3x3 under 18 World Cup championship squad. So he plays well in the half court. He plays well in the full court. Has a true build of your modern day point guard. You would hope that he improves a little bit more on his playmaking, but he can really get a bucket. He's very physical. I'd like to see how that translates at Baylor with a little bit higher level of competition, but he stepped up to competition at every phase, whether it's USA or McDonald's All-American game where he started and had 13 points. He looks the part. He is the part. Him, Kel'el Ware. Can't wait to see them for Baylor. He's 13 on my list right now. At 14, I have Amari Bailey. Yes, he spent a lot of last year hurt, but he's a gamer. He's very hungry. I love it, watching all the documentaries. He's got more film on him about his character and his game than almost anybody in the high school game. And he's intriguing. He can pass a little bit. He's a good cutter. His spin move is probably the best going in college basketball. And he's rangy. He can shoot still too. California Mr. Basketball. Of course, he's the best player on Sierra Canyon. He has been playing with Bronny James, but he's been the guy. He's been the guy, and he's been, number one sophomore in America before. He's been climbing down the charts, even though I think his game is just getting better and more rounded as time goes on. He is a little bit frail. He looks a little bit smaller when he's playing like Team USA. You see guys like Cam Whitmore and Grady Dick, some of these other players that he's playing with look a little bit better, but he's hungry. He's going to get better. So I have Amari Bailey firmly at 14 for me right now. I think at UCLA, he's going to take some of that Johnny Juzang usage rate. And I think UCLA is going to be a damn good team this year. At 15, Kentucky's always bringing in the talent, always has great guards. And Cason Wallace is the next great guard for the University of Kentucky. 6'4", about 190 pounds. His high school stats, he averaged 20 points, 7 boards, 6 rebounds, shot great percentages, gave you a block, a steal, Texas Gatorade Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American, everything you look for in a guard coming in Kentucky. He'll start day one as a freshman. I really like his ability to get his own shot, but his ability to affect the game when he doesn't have the basketball is also important. So I like Cason Wallace here at 15 and could see him rising at 16. I just spoke on him. Kansas is going to love Grady Dick. He's somebody that can play in so many different lineups. He can really spot up and shoot the ball lights out. But at 6'7", 200 pounds, that's not all he can do. And he's not, I know he doesn't look necessarily your typical part, but he's for all the competition. He never backs down. He plays almost more basketball than anyone else. You win the Gatorade and Naismith National Player of the Year, they don't just give those out for fun. So Grady Dick at 16. At 17, Terquavion Smith, somebody that was lighting up the combine just a couple months ago. He seems like your top six-man candidate for his entire career, and you really need those players in the NBA. He's got Jamal Crawford vibes. But I see him going from potentially the end of the first round, which he probably would have been slated last year, to top 20 and possibly lottery, depending on how this year goes. But at 6'4", 165, yes, he needs to grow. I think that's what's going to help him this year, another year to groom his skills, which are next level. His ability to get his own shot is different. He had 34 against UNC, went to the national championship game last year. There's no doubting his basketball talent, and let's give it one more year. Shout out to college basketball for getting to see him one more year. Chris Livingston is coming in with Case and Wallace to a talented freshman class. As we've seen again, he's the best player on Oak Hill last year, averaging 17 points, 8 boards. Very efficient. It imposes his will on people. It's physically bigger in high school than players, but I think next year he's going to really sharpen up his defense, which Coach Cal definitely does. But, just in 2019, he was the U16 Team USA America's Championship MVP. So that's playing with the best players in America against the best players in the rest of the world. He's the best player on that team. So Chris Livingston is a force to be reckoned with, and the NBA needs wings. We saw how many were drafted in 2022 draft. I see a similar approach going forward. At 19, Kyle Filipowski, going to Duke, playing with Lively, playing with Darek Whitehead, 6'11", shooter. It's going to open up the floor. That's a big front court. He averaged 19 points, 11 rebounds, 3 dimes, 2 steals, 1 block, a little bit of everything. He was part of that 3-on-3 under 18 gold team, Gatorade Massachusetts Player of the Year. He has a really good balance. He'll be finding himself in the corner. We'll see how John Shire runs his offense this year, but I think he can be a benefit of some wide open jumpers this year, not only in NCAA, but going forward into the NBA, and that's why I got him as a top 20 pick. To wrap up the top 20, Jordan Walsh. He's now my third Arkansas Razorback, which, scouts and people like myself and the viewers right now, we're going to be tuning into so many Arkansas games to see this talent unfold. He's the glue guy to this team, and he does a little bit of everything. And when people sleep on him, he makes them pay, and he will dunk on your head. So I like Jordan Walsh. I like him for the fit of this team. I think if Jalen Williams would have came back, you're looking at a national championship squad, but without Jalen Williams, it's going to open up opportunities, not only for rebounds, but just to be a force and a leader out there. At 21, Julian Phillips commits to Tennessee. Dawes All-American game. He looked like he belonged. He's a 17th ranked player in ESPN. He played for Link Academy. Very talented player. Tennessee's been accumulating these players for some time, and he's going to step in day one. He should start 6'8", 200. He's that prototypical wing size player that you're looking for in the NBA. And as a freshman, these type of players, as you'll see the next 3 or 4, and the theme of this draft is they usually get put in these mock drafts, and some of them work out, some of them not so much, and they drop out a little bit. And there's always sophomores and juniors that rise to the cream of the crop. Right now, he has the potential to be in his first round. At 22, Leonard Miller, he went to the combine. He tested the waters, 6'11", 210. He's going to G League Ignite. I think that's the best move for him. Go ahead, work on your skills. In Canada, playing against not the greatest competition in 9 games of senior season, he averaged 31 points, 12 boards, 3 dimes. But to those 3 dimes, he had 4 turnovers. So he's raw. He needs to improve. He needs reps. He needs to play with some of these grown men, these coaches. I think, again, G League ignites the best situation for him. He gets to go play with Scoot Henderson and the rest of those boys. At 23, Brandon Miller, no relation, Alabama freshman, 6'8", 200. In high school, he averaged 24 points, nearly 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Mr. Do It All. And as a wing player, you want guys like that. So again, tune into Alabama basketball, because it's not just a football school anymore. They're bringing in pros each and every year. 24, JJ Starling. What a tough last name, by the way, but he'll fill in for Blake Wesley, who we just seen go in the first round around this spot. And we'll see if JJ can do the same. McDonald's All-American, La Lumiere School, you know that's just high-level basketball. He's playing against the best. And offensively, he's special. You would like to see him improve with his just decision making, some of his defensive tools. But I'm looking for JJ Starling to run out the gate for Notre Dame, play himself into that first round at 25. Rayon Rupert, who comes from good stock, his father, professional football player. And by football, I mean soccer. 6'5", 200, that prototypical shooting guard size. Gave you 14 a game, 3.5 assists, 2.5 assists rather, 3.5 rebounds. His last 4 games, he basically had 20 spot in all of them. And he's playing in the toughest league in Europe. He had 2 20s, a 19 and a 21. So I just think that's gonna shine bright this year going forward. I think he's ready to take a jump into the NBA draft come 2023, this time next year. At 26, Imani Bates, very rough freshman year for Memphis. Physically, it was a problem for him when he got doubled. He didn't really know what to do. He turned the ball over more than he had assists. It was not the high school game. He moved up a year, but remember, as a sophomore, he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. He's still 6'9" and can shoot the daylights off the ball, even though he did not do so that first year. I think it would have benefited him for his drag stock to have stayed in high school another year and maybe go to G League Ignite route. He's still undecided. He pulled out of Memphis, but there's a chance that he goes back there. I'd like to see him go to Michigan and kind of play that Caleb Houston role, and maybe, as a sophomore, more mature, more humble than he came in this year. I still think offensively he's got a package to shoot the ball deep that is rare. So I'm still a Imani Bates believer, and I'm thinking that he has a bounce back year and he comes into be a first round pick. At 27, Caleb Love. I had the privilege to see him live as he was playing at Wells Fargo Center in Philly, and he just lit it up. He was the best player on North Carolina. Yes, Armando Bacot was grabbing every single rebound in that tournament, but the way he played against UCLA, dropping 30, the way he played against Duke multiple times, but most recently at 28 in a tournament, leading his team to that final championship game. Coming back for his junior year, I think him and Bacot had a conversation. Let's go try and win it, cut down the nets. And with Hubert Davis as coach, they have a strong chance at that. You would like to see his efficiency rise. You want him to shoot a better field goal percentage. And, with summer work, you could see that. But he has all the moves. He gets to the basket at will. He's got a mad step back. So Caleb Love, I think he's going to take a huge jump this junior year at 28. Harrison Ingram didn't go well that freshman year necessarily, but if you watch the tapes, he looks like he belongs. I think that he would have been drafted this year if he would have went into the draft. He's coming back to refine his skills. It was on full display against USC when he had 21 points, 10 boards, 2 assists, 6'8" to 30. Has Team USA experience. Harrison Ingram bounces back, becomes a first-round pick next year. Arthur Kaluma, sophomore from Creighton, put it all on display against the future national championships in Kansas in the tournament when he had 24 points, 12 boards, and 3 dimes. He takes a huge jump into this sophomore year, first round pick at 30. So this is a top 30 mock draft. Trace Jackson Davis. It comes from Great Claw. Now, I don't necessarily understand why the NBA scouts or the mock drafts that I look at don't like him. I think that he's the great downhill because he doesn't shoot threes. I understand that, but not everybody in the NBA shoots. I mean, Draymond Green affects the game so many different ways. I'm not comparing the two of them, but he rebounds at a high clip. He can really score a ball. 6'9", 245, comes from good claw, Dale Davis being his father. And he just has amazing games against Marquette, which you got Daryl Marcel, you got Justin Lewis heads up. He goes for 43 points, 5 boards, 4 dimes, 7 stocks. And he averaged 2.3 blocks a game. Put some respect on his name. I hope he gets drafted. If not, wherever he plays professionally, he's going to be just amazing. So with that, I'm going to go through a list of some of the standout seniors. Oscar Shebe comes back. Arkansas, he had 30 points, 18 boards. He had more regular season rebounds than anybody in NCAA history, averaging 15 a game. Armando Bacot, I've mentioned him before. He had the most total rebounds all time in the season because they extended all the way to the championship game, and he's grabbing 20 a game basically in the tournament. 2-time All ACC, All Tourney this year. A leader, comes from IMG where they won Geico National Championship. He's a winner all around. He falls into the same window as Jackson Davis and Shebe, where he doesn't shoot threes, but he's one of the best rebounders I've seen in college basketball. And rebounding is one thing that definitely translates when you go pro. Marcus Sasser was sizzling in the combine. He's going to average a dub this year. I'm kind of firm on that. He missed most of the season this year. His last game was in December, which is I guess technically last year on the calendar year, but he came in and the combine cooked it up, but probably didn't get a guarantee. And he shot 44% from the three. And he only played 13 games, but he had 4 of them were over 25. He's going to be one of the best seniors, and he's going to be one of the best players in college basketball. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes first, second team All-America. Jaime Jaquez elected to come back, unlike his teammate Johnny Juzang, who did not get drafted. And maybe he should have came out the year before as they went into the Final Four, and UCLA kind of faltered a little bit this year. The ball got a little sticky in his hands. I can only imagine the type of attention these players are getting in the UCLA campus, and I think it's gonna good for the program. Peyton Watson goes pro, even though he barely played. I think Amari Bailey, Jaime Jaquez, that's gonna be a nice pairing for Tiger Campbell to drop dimes to, and he's just a solid overall player. Let's see if we can play himself into the first or second round. Jalen Wilson, who went into the combine, he played very well in the tournament. You love what you saw against Nova, where he was crashing the glass, he was dropping down, he was doing a little bit of everything, and at 6'8", 225, solid wing. He started that freshman season off so well. Looking for him to really come on strong this year. Isaiah Wong, I banged all over Jabari Smith in the tournament, but he did more than that. He had 21 points, 6 boards, 2 dimes. He has the athleticism of a pro. And we'll see how this senior year goes. 6'3", 185. Point guards come a dime a dozen, so he's going to really have to play well. But to lead that Miami team to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, that was remarkable. Drew Timme, Van Wilder, the college game, probably the best player in college basketball. He's going to go all first team, second team All-America again. One of the smartest players that I've seen in some time. He can stretch it. I can see his three-pointer improving a lot because I'm sure that's what they've talked about. He was at the combine. It looked like he fared well. He should be drafted next year, but college basketball and basketball fans should be happy that we can see another year of him. juniors that I'm looking at. Julian Strawther, that made a huge jump here this last season. 6'7", 205, good wing size, good athlete. He should get everybody in Gonzaga gets better each and every year, and he's somebody that NBA scouts have him on their radar, as well as Chris Murray. We just saw his brother get drafted 4th overall to the Sacramento Kings. The twin brother he showed signs that he could plug in and play some of that same game. So we'll see how he does at Iowa. But he did have a game where he had 29 points, 11 boards, and 6 stocks, and he looked all the part. So with more usage, we'll see how his junior year go. Adama Sanogo, he is impressive. He's one of the best players. I think UConn has the whole lineup of future pros, but he averaged 15 points, 9 boards. He shoots well at the free throw line, or decently at the free throw line, give you nearly 2 blocks a game. Against Auburn, heads up with Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler, 30 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks. Zach Edey, 7'4", 295. We saw him on the bench when it came down to crunch time, but no Travion Williams. He'll step into that role. Him and Caleb First will play a little bit more together. He had 9 games where he had 20-plus points. So he is a matchup nightmare because of his size, and he's tailor-made for college basketball. We'll see if his stock rises at all, but I think that he's a bit slew-footed, and in the pick and roll, he gets really exposed. Mike Miles out of TCU against Texas Tech, he had 26 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 5 steals, and he looked like an NBA pro that day. He's somebody that's considered going pro before, but I think he really takes a leap this junior year and hopefully sneaks into that second round. Andre Jackson, we mentioned UConn pros. He'll get more opportunity this year, but he can really rebound the ball well. He's somebody I'm looking at sophomores. Jordan Hawkins, somebody that I had the privilege to coach against once upon a time when he was playing at Gaithersburg High School against Richard Montgomery, my alma mater, before he transferred to DeMatha. And as a sophomore, it was already eye-popping, his ability. He's got a real smooth game. He can shoot it. He's going to get a lot more opportunity without RJ Cole in that backcourt, and he takes a big leap, 6'5", 175. Against Auburn, he had 15 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. You saw a little bit of that spark and why people are talking about him in the NBA draft this year. Matt Cleveland, we saw John Butler, his teammate, go pro. He comes back, 6'7", 200. He hit a game winner against UVA. He's had other games where he's been impressive, and Florida State produces these wings, and a lot of pros recently. So I see him having a great year, going pro. Jalen Worley, his college teammate, 6'6" guard, has the size, and I think that with more opportunity, he's going to be somebody that's going to be considered. Damian Collins came in very raw last year, but physically the gifts are there with the whole offseason for Kentucky. Seeing him being a much bigger playing a much bigger role for that team, and he might get drafted. 2 guards from Gonzaga I'm looking at that are sophomores take a leap. Nolan Hickman, Hunter Salas, and that's all you have right now. I know I said 30. I touched on more than 30. I'll have a whole big board of 60, but this is the way too early mock draft. Please tell me who I missed, who else you want me to talk about, who else to dive deep into. But it's a very intriguing draft nonetheless. Victor Wembanyama, as I mentioned before, he's got everybody screaming. Scoot Henderson. So you're going to be watching multiple different platforms and leagues to try to check out these prospects. But I think it's a promising one, and I can't wait to cover it all year. Again, these mocks and these stocks are fluid. We saw what happened last year. Patrick Baldwin was like 6th for a lot of people. Amani Bates felt like there's a lot of fluidity as time goes on, and the better players rise to the top. So can't wait to witness this with you. See you next time. Please hit a like, comments. Always going to respond to them. Subscribe if you like it, because I'll be doing a 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 as the season expands. I'm Coach Lewis. This is Triple Play Fantasy. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.